I want to investigate the impact of upgrade advantages in a fight of Zealots versus Zerglings. I created Zealots and Zerglings on equal supply. In the first round, both teams are on 0 upgrades and we're going to let the teams fight. In the second round, I'm going to activate +1 attack on the Zealots and fight against unupgraded Zerglings. In the third round, I'm going to activate +1 armor upgrades on the Zealots and again fight versus the unupgraded Zerglings. And I'm going also do the other combinations, and in the end we're going to compare the results. Alright, so this is now 0 upgrades versus 0 upgrades. Attack. Yo, and without any upgrades, it's a win for the Lings. Round 2, we have +1 attack on the Zealots, nothing on the Zerglings. Attack. And it's a win for the Zealots. Round 3, +1 armor on the Zealots, nothing on the Zerglings. Attack. Yo, and it's again a win for the Zealots. And I want to visualize the result using this matrix. So the way this works is when we look at the fight Zealot with no upgrade versus Ling with no upgrade, the Zerglings win with 13 Zerglings remaining. This is 6.5 supply. Okay? When we look at the fight of Zealot with +1 attack versus Ling with no upgrade, the Zealots won with 10 Zealots remaining, 20 supply. When we look at the fight Zealot with +1 armor versus Ling with no upgrade, we had 5 Zealots surviving. This is 10 supply. And to make the visualization easier, I used a color scale, a heat map. So a blue color means Zergling 1, red color means Zealot 1. These results are already very interesting because we see in the no upgrade case, none versus none, the Zealot loses. If the Zealot has +1 attack, the Zealot wins very hard. And if the Zealot has +1 armor, the Zealot still wins. So if you have just 1 upgrade advantage for the Zealot over the Zerglings, it's a win. And now we're going to look at the other remaining permutations. And by the way, if you like these kinds of videos, please do me a favor and subscribe. Alright, so now we're going to repeat the simulations, but this time the Zerglings have +1 attack. So this is now 0 upgrade Zealot versus +1 attack Zergling. Attack. Yo, and it's a win for the Zerglings. Next test. +1 attack Zealot versus +1 attack Zergling. Attack. Easy win for the Zealots. Next round. +1 armor Zealot versus +1 attack Zergling. Attack. Win for the Zerglings. Right, only 3 more to go. This is now 0 upgrade Zealot versus +1 armor Zergling. Attack. Yo dudes, the Zerglings win with 17 remaining. Next test, +1 attack Zealot versus +1 armor Zergling. Go. Lings win. And we have gotten to the final test, that is +1 armor Zealot versus +1 armor Zergling. Go. And the Zealots win. Now we look at the results table. So in the case with no upgrades on both teams, the base case, the Zerglings win. Then, if the Zealot gets +1 attack and the Zergling has nothing, the Zealots win very hard. The reason is, if the Zealot has +1 attack and the Zergling has no armor to compensate, the Zealot starts two-shotting the Zergling instead of three-shotting. Okay, so this is this big difference. And if the Zealot has +1 armor, the Zealot also wins. That's because +1 armor is pretty strong against Zerglings, because Zerglings have a low damage attack, and if you take one of this low damage, it's a quite substantial damage reduction. Then we look at this area here. So no upgrade Zealot versus +1 attack Ling, the Zealot loses. That's easy explained, because if the unupgraded Zealot loses versus the unupgraded Zergling, the Zealot loses even harder versus the Zergling with any kind of upgrades. Okay? Then we look at this area here. This is +1 attack versus +1 attack. In this case, the Zealot wins. This is also because when the Zealot has +1 attack and the Ling has attack but no armor, the Zealot still two-shots the Zergling instead of three-shotting. So that's why the Zealot wins very good in this scenario. Then we look at these two scenarios. So these two scenarios are basically the same as the base scenario, because if the Zealot has +1 attack, this +1 attack gets cancelled out by +1 armor on the Zergling. So here you have the same result as in the base case. The same is true for this case, because if the Ling has +1 attack and the Zealot has +1 armor, the attack gets cancelled out by the armor. So here we have approximately the same result compared to the base case. And then we have +1 attack Zealot versus +1 attack Ling. In this case, the Zealot wins. I think this is because the attack upgrade is stronger for the Zealot compared to the Zergling, because the Zealot gets +2 for each upgrade, while the Zealot gets +2, while the Zergling only gets +1. So in this case, when both have the attack, the Zealot is stronger. Alright dudes, that's it. See you next time.